You're sitting in a meeting, or a group chat, or around a dinner table, and everyone lands on the same opinion at almost the same moment. Heads nod, someone says, yeah, exactly. And you feel it, that small internal tug that says, I don't actually agree with this. You could just nod along, it would take 2 seconds. Instead, you sit there, stomach tight, and either say the uncomfortable thing or swallow it, and spend the rest of the night replaying why you couldn't just let it go. And afterward, the question that shows up isn't, was I right? It's, what's wrong with me? Most people will tell you the answer is personality. You're stubborn, you're difficult, you've got something to prove. Some will even call it a self-esteem problem, like you need the room's approval so badly that disagreeing is some kind of overcorrection. But here's the part almost nobody tells you. The people who do go along with the group aren't doing it because they thought about it and agreed. In most cases, they're not really thinking at all. And the people who don't, the ones who feel that internal friction, aren't broken. They're running a different, measurable process in their brain, one that researchers have been mapping for over 70 years. Welcome back to Mind Undone. Today we're breaking down the 4 mechanisms behind people who don't follow the crowd and why the difficult label is scientifically backwards. Let's start with the baseline because you need to see what normal actually looks like first. In the early 1950s, psychologist Solomon Asch ran a now famous experiment. He put a person in a room with several actors and showed them a line, then asked which of 3 comparison lines matched its length. The answer was obvious, not close, not tricky, obvious. But when the actors around the real subject all confidently gave the wrong answer, about 3/4 of participants went along with the group at least once, even though their own eyes told them otherwise. That's the baseline. Most human brains are built to prioritize group agreement over individual perception, not because people are weak, because for most of human history, being cast out of the group was a survival threat. Later research on social rejection, led by psychologist Naomi Eisenberger, found something remarkable. The same brain regions that process physical pain also light up during social exclusion. Being disagreed with or being the odd one out doesn't just feel bad. Neurologically, it registers as an injury. So if that's true for almost everyone, why doesn't it stop you? This is where the origin story comes in, and it usually starts earlier than you'd expect. Psychologists studying parenting styles have found that kids raised in homes where disagreement was allowed, where a child could push back on a rule and get a reason instead of punishment, tend to keep something called an internal locus of evaluation. That's a term from psychologist Carl Rogers. It means your sense of whether something is true or good comes from inside you, not from scanning the room for consensus. If you grew up somewhere disagreement was treated as disrespect, your brain never got to build that muscle. If you grew up somewhere it was tolerated or even invited, that circuit stayed online. So here's what's actually happening inside people who don't follow the crowd. 4 things. 1. A dampened social threat response. The same alarm that makes most people flinch at disagreement fires more quietly in you. Not absent, quieter. That's not confidence. That's a different calibration. 2. An internal reference point. When you evaluate an idea, you're not asking, does the room like this? You're asking, does this hold up? 2 completely different questions, and most people are only asking the first one. 3. Higher tolerance for ambiguity. Groupthink resolves discomfort fast. Everyone agrees, tension drops, done. You don't get that relief as easily. You can sit inside, I'm not sure yet and neither is anyone else, far longer than most people can stand. 4. Pattern recognition over social mirroring. You're not copying the last confident voice in the room, you're actually running the logic yourself every time. Slower, more expensive, but it's yours. The cost is real though. You get called difficult, argumentative, hard to work with. You lose the easy social reward of instant agreement, and sometimes you lose actual relationships over it. This isn't a superpower with no downside. It's a trade. So what actually works? Because the goal here isn't rebellion for its own sake, and it isn't self-erasure either. The synthesis is this. The goal was never disagree with the group.
That's just contrarianism wearing independence as a costume. The goal is staying answerable to the evidence in front of you instead of the mood in the room. Sometimes that lines up with everyone else. Sometimes it doesn't. The wiring doesn't care either way. It's not built to be different. It's built to check. Ralph Waldo Emerson spent a good part of his life writing about exactly this tension, the pull between the voice inside you and the noise of the crowd, and how much gets lost when the crowd wins that argument by default. So think about the last time you felt that tug, the moment the room agreed and something in you didn't. Did you follow the group, or did you follow the line you actually saw? Tell me in the comments which of the four, the quiet threat response, the internal reference point, the ambiguity tolerance, or the pattern recognition, sounds the most like you. If this explained something you've never had words for, send it to the person in your life who's always the one holding out. Like this if you needed it today, and subscribe to Mind Undone, because next week we're going deeper into the psychology of the people who taught you to agree in the first place.